Welcome to the family with
Andy Brant Bernard.
we got Catherine not coming in and Ralph not coming in because Ralph is doing a procedure on Catherine, so that's why neither one of them's here today.
Yep.
That's not a big deal. It's nothing serious or anything like that.
She is getting height increasing surgery.
Yes, exactly.
She always wanted to be 6 feet tall.
I think she's already getting taller than me. She's still growing and I'm not. I don't know why that is.
Still growing in her 60s.
It's exactly right.
I think that's that might be a problem.
Yeah, that would not be good. No question about it. What's something so simple you're so horrible at? Is there anything that's really simple but you're horrible at? I'm trying to think of what they would even mean by
writing.
That. Writing?
Like
but everybody's
with a pencil.
Writing with a pencil?
Yeah. No, my handwriting is insanely horrible. It always has been. And like when I write with a pencil, my hand hurts after 30 seconds.
Really?
And it's always been that way. I remember in school being like, you have to do all your stuff by hand because I grew up in the before times.
I
remember being like, oh, teacher, my hand hurts. And they're like, oh, you're holding your pencil wrong. You're holding it too tight, whatever. But I don't know. Something about my hand is just not built for holding a pencil.
There you go. Some people can fold a t-shirt perfectly in 1 second without even thinking about it. And others fold it, undo it, refold it, undo it, refold it. And it still comes undone before they get it into the drawer. I would be one of those people. I would suck at folding a t-shirt.
I did until I met Melissa. I didn't fold clothes for 10 years.
Oh, she taught you how to do it?
Yeah. Well, she used to work for Target.
Yeah, she worked at Target.
Yeah.
Right?
She worked at Target corporate. I forget if she actually worked in a Target, but she worked somewhere where she learned the proper way to fold clothes. So
there you go.
But yeah, no, for many years, most of the time I would just take my clothes out of the hamper and just leave them in there.
Yeah.
If I wanted to get fancy, I'd put them in a drawer, but I wouldn't fold them.
Absolutely. People on social media are listing things that are so simple to do, yet somehow they're so horrible at them. Some highlights of what they're talking about. Oh my God, there are 20 of them, but they're short, so not a big deal. And if you or I suck at this, you have to admit it.
Okay.
Someone said drinking out of a glass. 9 times out of 10, I'll slam the cup into my teeth and pour the drink on myself. I don't have good depth perception. No, I don't have a problem.
Sounds like tardive dyskinesia.
It kind of does. You don't have any problem with that. I don't either. Number 19. Someone said I can't tie a balloon up after blowing it up. That's very easy to do too.
I haven't tried. I don't like balloons.
You don't like balloons?
No,
too loud?
I'm afraid they're gonna pop.
Yep, too loud. Someone said rolling my R's. Why would you roll your R's? Really?
Yeah, a lot of people. I remember in middle school doing Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the people, they were like, "How do you do this?" It's like, no, that is not how you roll an R.
No. Well, there was a commercial many, many years ago. Remember Ruffles potato chips?
Yes.
Their commercial was Ruffles have ridges.
Oh, yeah. Ruffles have ridges.
Remember that? And they would roll their R's like that. Writing an ampersand. Why is that hard?
I don't think I could. I don't think I've ever tried.
Isn't that just kind of a big version of an A with a circle around it?
No, that is an at symbol.
Oh, that's an at symbol.
Ampersand is the and symbol.
Just plus?
No, like the fancy one.
Oh, you mean it kind of looks like the number 8?
Yeah, exactly. That's an ampersand.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never even tried to write an ampersand. I don't really know why I ever would. So I'm sure I would be horrible at it. Oh no, here,
You're gonna give it a
open
whirl?
up Paint and I'm gonna try to do it from memory.
You're gonna do an ampersand?
And then I'm going to pick it up, or I'm gonna Google it and I'm gonna see if I did it right. All right, here we go.
Are we seeing this? Or no, we're not seeing it.
And then that. No, that's horrible. I will save it and put it on screen.
Okay.
Wait, I have to. Oh, I kind of cut it off there. There we go.
It's not on screen.
It will be in a second.
Oh, it will be in a second. Why does it take long for an ampersand to show up on the screen?
Well, I'm not drawing it on the screen. I'm drawing it in Paint, and then I have to export it.
Oh, I see.
The whole process. All right. I put it in my documents because it's an important document. All right. Here's my ampersand. Now I'm going to Google
Close enough.
Ampersand.
You can do a side-by-side comparison.
It wasn't too far away.
No,
I just forgot. On the right, it's supposed to go up. Here, I will.
Which line? The flat one or the one pointing down?
Here, I will web P. No, I don't want a web P.
I'd like to pee. Thank you very much.
I'm sure. Here we go. Download an ampersand. We'll add that. Downloads. Here it is. So this is the real thing.
That's an ampersand, yes.
This is mine.
Oh, so that goes up.
Goes
yeah,
up.
okay.
It wasn't too far.
No, it wasn't bad at all.
People listening are going to be like, what the hell are they talking about? But
well, we move on. So the first 4, I don't have any problem with at all. Number 16, I hit my first thing I suck at, playing hacky sack.
16? I think you said there were 10.
No, I said there were 20.
Oh, well.
Playing hacky sack.
Never done it.
I sucked at it. It was horrible.
Not enough of a hippie.
There you go. 15 is shuffling cards. Not a problem.
I cannot shuffle cards.
Oh, you can't shuffle them?
It's been a running joke in Melissa's family.
14, eating with chopsticks. Not a problem. I don't have a problem with that either. Operating a manual can opener. Nope. So far, it's just been playing hacky sack for me.
Manual can opener. What's
Who
hard
even
about
has
that?
one of those anymore?
I mean, we have the cool kind that takes the top off without making sharp edges.
Right. Making hard-boiled eggs. No, that's
you just put an egg in boiling water.
Yeah, it's not that hard. Making rice. This stuff is how is this? This is not even hard.
You don't even make rice. The machine makes it for you.
Yes, exactly. A rice cooker or Instant Pot makes it hard to screw up.
Sure does.
No question. Number 10, hula hooping. Well, I haven't done that since I was about 8.
I cannot remember the last time I hula hooped. I probably would not be good at it. I don't know.
I've never done this. Number 9 is applying eyeshadow.
Well, yeah.
Never had eyeshadow.
Never done that.
Oh, that's not true. When I played sports, they used to put eyeshadow. That's not eyeshadow.
Yeah. That's eye black.
Eye black. It's not eyeshadow. You're right. Number 8 is doing anything while someone is watching. Nope. Don't have any problem with that either. 7, sleeping. Well, I take sleep medication, so I don't have trouble sleeping. If I did not take sleep medication, I could not sleep. That's true.
Yeah. That's not good.
Number 6, whistling. How does somebody not whistle?
Well, every adult can whistle, can't they?
I would think so. Number 5, perceiving time. But once again, now there's a qualifier for that one because I've been on the air now for 54 years. And if you can't perceive time, you should not be on the air because you would screw up everything you touched.
Here's an interesting thing about perceiving time.
Yeah.
So every day at 7:30 plus or minus maybe 5 minutes tops, Ethan wakes up unprompted.
Really?
He's that punctual.
Jesus.
Right at 7:30. There's no indicator. Even on weekends, our neighbors' kids go to school around then, but even on weekends, he's waking up right at 7:30. And we're like, how do you know?
Yeah. That's
and why won't
amazing.
you sleep later?
That is pretty amazing. Number 4, parallel parking. This isn't always simple depending on the space you have.
Yeah.
I can generally parallel park. If the space looked too tight, I wouldn't even try to parallel park in it anyway.
I avoid it if at all. I'd rather go a block away and walk.
Yeah, I agree.
Probably faster.
Number 3, following driving instructions. I'm really good at that. A matter of fact, I have to do that today to get out to pick up your mother. So I'm going to have to follow driving directions because I don't know where she even is yet.
I just GPS.
That's it. Number 2, wrapping gifts. Yes, I would say I suck at wrapping gifts.
I've tried so many times.
Yeah,
I just cannot do it.
There you go. And number 1 is estimating how much pasta to cook. No, so 2 out of 20 I can't do. The other 18 I got no problem with it. So people have all that trouble with all of those things.
I don't think anyone has. If you have trouble with all of those things, then you got real problems.
Well, that's true. You should probably sleep more or something. Work it out. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I don't understand what this means. The broken McFlurry machine problem might finally be solved. What the hell are they talking about?
McDonald's ice cream machines being broken has been a meme for 100 million years.
Why are their ice cream machines broken?
Well, apparently what just happened is the patent for the machines ran out or something like that.
So they shut them down?
No, they didn't shut them down. What was happening is only special McDonald's certified technicians could work on these machines. So you run a McDonald's, your machine breaks down, and you got a 3-month wait until one of the few McDonald's certified ice cream techs could come out and fix your machine. So your machine is always broken. But now apparently anyone can fix it.
I have a question for you, and I'm not trying to be a smart ass here. But do you think these McFlurry machines, all of a sudden, they got that blah, 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 all the stuff that McDonald's was giving people E. coli because of the onions or something?
I think, yeah, that's what they said. It was the onions.
Doesn't it seem like quite a coincidence that one of our presidential candidates appears at the McDonald's, has a ball just to laughing it up at a great time, and all of a sudden, not one, but two things are wrong at McDonald's?
Yeah, all of a sudden, everyone's hyper-focused on McDonald's.
Yeah, I think, look, if it needs to be done, it needs to be done. I don't have any problem with that. But it just seems to me to be pretty coincidental that it's happening at this particular time.
Yeah, it's very like sins of the father almost kind of situation.
Yeah, it does seem that way. Now I have to ask you a question also. This situation with this comedian saying the things he said about like Puerto Rico as just a floating dump, or what did he say? Floating garbage pit.
Be quiet. He's on with us.
Oh, it was Kostaki that said it. What did he say? He said that Puerto Rico is a floating garbage something.
I'm a little behind on this story. What comic was it?
Ah, God.
Tony Hinchcliffe calls Puerto Rico floating island of garbage.
Floating island of garbage. It was at the Trump rally, apparently. I don't watch rallies or anything, so I didn't see it.
I don't watch rallies, and I don't know who Tony Hinchcliffe is.
I don't either.
And honestly, I don't know anything about Puerto Rico, so I'm kind of...
And then the guy... So have you ever heard of Tony Hinchcliffe, Kostaki?
Yeah, he's the Kill Tony guy. It's one of the hot comedy things going on in the world.
Kill Tony.
Kill Tony.
Kill Tony is a show that's based out of the club in Austin, and it's it's a kind of a dais kind of a setup, and they have open micers do short sets, and they kind of bust their balls and they go back and forth. They've got some pretty big stars that come on and like guest host on there. Some big comedy stars, and then occasional big names from non-comedy as well. It's gotten to be a very hot thing. And Hinchcliffe was one of the ones who had a great roast at the Tom Brady roast as well. So
he did. Okay,
he's kind of big and buzzworthy right now.
Oh, so that's why. But why would he go on and say something like that at a political rally?
I'm behind on the story. I have to go look at it. I don't know. I mean, he's a comic, so he's going to be, right. He's going to be prone to exaggeration and darkness. That's his nature. But yeah, it's a bold choice for a comic to even pick a side publicly these days.
I would think that's probably true. Now, to add to the story, that he didn't just finish there. Still, while he was on national television at Madison Square Garden, he apparently said, he pointed out a black man in the audience and said, he and I are going to get together later and eat some watermelon. Why would you say that?
Maybe they were. We don't know what their plans are.
Maybe they really were. I don't know.
Yeah, as many comics have pointed out, chicken and watermelon are delicious. Everyone likes those things.
That is true.
Yeah, I mean, it's Tony doing sort of the on the nose to make the joke out of the joke because it's the joke. It's I don't know. It's a very strong choice to go in a political rally for a comedian at all.
I agree with that one.
And then to say things that really belong only in a comedy club environment with sort of, we sort of accept there's going to be some darkness and edge in a comedy environment, but they don't really work the same way at a political rally.
Well, no, because obviously now, and I don't, like I said, I didn't see it and I don't have an opinion on it or whatever. I think it's just stupid to say that kind of thing about Puerto Rico, which is a beautiful place, by the way.
Yeah, I agree. I love Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico's gorgeous, but I just, because of course now on one side of the coin, it was all Trump's fault. It's like, Jesus, it's not Trump's fault. It's not Kamala Harris's fault. Calm down, for Christ's sake. God,
I hear you.
So whipped up about this stuff.
Yeah, if we got mad at a party every time one of their comedians said something reprehensible, I think we'd be mad all the time.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm always on the side of defending the comic. If you take the words and write them down and then read them out of context, that's not a fair measure of what comedy is.
That's true.
But yeah, I'm with you on the premise that it was a questionable choice to say those things.
Yes, at a political rally.
At a political rally.
What he said about Puerto Rico reminds me of a old meme that's out there. It's been going around for years. So did you know that in the Atlantic Ocean, there is a gigantic floating patch of garbage?
Yeah.
Yeah. For more information, Google United Kingdom.
Oh, God, that's terrible.
So if you can say that, why can't you say the same thing about Puerto Rico?
Well, that's true. You're absolutely right. Oh, England is garbage. That's
it's probably made by an Irish person.
Yeah,
probably.
Right.
That's probably no question about it. It's so funny you bring that up, Andy, because I pointed out this morning that this was said about Puerto Rico, and one of my favorite people in the world, Deadina Purcell, then Deadina O'Brien, because she was a Puerto Rican woman who married an Irish man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Pat O'Brien. My brother-in-law was half Puerto Rican, but I mean, basically, you went right to the Irishman attacking the Englishman over something that happened in Puerto Rico. But he was an FBI agent.
Well,
Mr. O'Brien was. You wouldn't want to. He was just a wonderful guy.
So he did a step up above the Irish cop thing and became an Irish FBI agent.
Yep, he became an Irish FBI agent. Tommy O'Brien, and his son, Tommy O'Brien, is one of my best friends to this day. I love Tommy O'Brien. Great guy.
Nice.
No question about it. But moving on from calling people horrible things like your island is a pile of garbage. Other than that, though.
Well, we had some fun in the NFL. We had a Hail Mary walk-off touchdown for the win.
What was that all about?
That was beautiful. I actually missed it live, but as soon as I caught up, I was like, oh my goodness, this is fun. Usually when they're desperate for a win in Washington, they go with the filibuster. This was a way better way to settle things. Way more fun.
He's working it in.
The Bears, but it's for every joyful Hail Mary moment, there's the other team that doesn't. Just crushed in defeat. This is the worst thing to happen to Bears since those lockable trash can lids that require a thumb. Yeah, it's bad.
Big in Canada.
That's very bad for the Bears.
Herp.
We had some cool uniforms this week. Commanders were in their all blacks.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, white Bengal gear. Which makes me think of Siegfried and Roy.
Sure.
It's a good warning. Remember, if you get too close to the Bengals, they can really hurt your head. They're bad.
That has happened.
And the Bucks and creamsicles. You like the creamsicles, right, Tom?
When I was a kid, I loved a creamsicle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I haven't had one in a few years now, but
Whenever I see them, I think of John McKay. This is maybe the greatest quote in the history of the NFL. John McKay was the first coach of the Buccaneers in 1976.
Mm-hmm.
They went 0-14 that year. And at one point they asked him, what do you think of your team's execution, coach? And he said, I'm in favor of it.
Yeah. Kill them all.
That is a great quote.
That is a great line. That is a great line.
I didn't know this. Apparently, he was like a gigantic name in college football. He was like the Nick Saban of his era.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And then he came to take over the expansion team in Tampa. Here's another one of his quotes. I forgot this one. We can't win at home. We can't win on the road. What we need is a neutral site.
Well, there you go.
That's good writing. That's Yogi Berra-ish writing.
Oh, I
need a change of venue.
The Bucks faked a punt this week, and the Titans faked a defense. Woof.
Oh.
The Titans went dressed Sunday as a professional football team, I guess, to celebrate Halloween. They lost to the Lions 14-52.
Oh, God.
They allowed 7 touchdowns.
That has to be one of the worst games in recent memory. 14-52.
That one's really. We've had a few this year, actually. The Cowboys got blown out a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
But that one is 7 touchdowns is really. The Christians did better against the Lions.
Hey.
This site says, NFL.com says the worst blowout ever was 62-7 Jaguars and Dolphins in 2000. So 55-point difference,
That's a big.
That's a blowout.
62-7. Wait, who was that?
Jaguars and Dolphins.
Who won? That was Dolphins
Jaguars.
winning? Oh, wow.
Yeah, in 2000.
Well, your team sucks when you get blown out by the Jaguars.
That's very true.
So wait, what was the score of the game that you said there?
This week was 52-14.
Yep.
52-14. So that would be a 38-point difference. That gets it in the top 10. There you go.
There you
top
go.
10 blowouts of all time.
Really?
Oh, that's fun.
Are you looking at that list right now?
Looking at NFL.com. Number 9 is 38-0, Cowboys Buccaneers, 1982. So there you go, 38 points.
Wow. So were there any others from this year that are on there?
Let's see.
We've had some really ugly games.
For 2015, Patriots and Colts, 45-7. That was another 38-point difference.
Okay.
2003. Now, most of these are older.
Any Vikings?
Yes. Giants 41, Vikings 0 in 2001.
Oh, 41 points.
Go Vikes.
Go Vikes and take the Twins with you.
The Twin Towers weren't the only thing that went down that year.
Oh, see? Now you're talking. Oh, you're talking.
Oh, my goodness. That's, 38-point difference. I mean, it's professional football. You usually don't see that. You see that in college all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you do.
You get these big programs against the, School for the Blind, whatever, community college.
School for the Blind.
The School for the Blind versus the School for the Not Blind.
Yes. Exactly.
I mean, if you go watch a college football game that has two teams that aren't even, whatever, Georgia against Troy State, they look like different species.
Yeah.
There's these big, fast, strong guys, and then there's this other group of dudes that you're like, they're not even the same universe of humans.
Well, I don't know if this counts because it was so long ago, but apparently the worst college football blowout, Georgia Tech versus Cumberland, 222-0.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
that's a famous one. Yeah. How is that even possible?
They rushed for 1,650 yards.
Oh, my God.
Cumberland didn't get a single first down.
There must have been some really unpleasant coach exchange before the game.
That's like over 30 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get to 190-0, you don't pull off the gas.
I know. At some point, it's I think we've won. Go take a break.
Put in the subs at this point.
God, that's so terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even seem possible. That would just be like scoring on every play.
They probably, Cumberland, I would imagine after a certain point, just stop trying. What do you do at that point?
Even then, you've got to fumble and cough up a pick six every play for that.
Yeah,
It's hard to imagine. Even if you kneel down on it, 4 times, at least you'd keep the score under 200.
You got to check this, Andy.
Uh-huh.
Does Cumberland even have a football team anymore after that?
No, that's a funny question.
That was over 100 years ago.
I know, but they might have given up 100 years ago.
Yeah. The next week, they're like, nah, we're going with the chess club.
It's Cumberland University Phoenix football. What is the plural of Phoenix? Phoenices?
Yeah, feces. That's what it is. That's exactly right.
Where is Cumberland? I don't even know where that is.
Tennessee, Lebanon, Tennessee.
Wow.
Lebanon, Tennessee.
That's what it says.
So they still do have a football team.
Apparently.
Have they ever won a football game?
Unless that was the Cumberland Patriot. What was it? Which Cumberland was it? There's a lot of Cumberlands out there.
Are there?
Are there? Never heard of one.
Well, there's at least 2.
A lot of them, at least 2. Okay.
That's a lot. More than 0.
It is more than 0. That's true. Right on the money. No question. All right.
DeAndre Hopkins got traded this week.
What's that all about?
Will Levis to Patrick Mahomes. Well, I hope he doesn't get the bends. He's come up awful fast.
Yeah, honest to God, what is that all about?
That's the Titans can't win. They're not going to make use of a good player this year. So, and the Chiefs have all these crazy injuries and desperately need somebody like that. So,
yeah,
it's a good match. They're just not. It's not much of a payment. It's like a 3rd or 4th round pick or something.
That's it?
Yeah.
That kind of surprises me.
It surprised me too, and I looked at the details yesterday when I was doing some writing. I was like, wow. I guess it's a little bit of a salary dump too.
Oh, sure.
So that's part of the equation there. Patrick Mahomes is the fastest to ever get to 30,000 passing yards. The most pass attempts, still Bill Clinton. All right.
Oh, see?
I saw Dak Prescott in front of a Dr. Pepper logo this week. And I thought, well, that's the perfect sponsor for the Cowboys. Some people love Dr. Pepper. Some people hate Dr. Pepper. And under pressure, it explodes.
What's so amazing about that? That team was always good when I was in my 20s and 30s.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They were phenomenal. Now they're just horrendous. What happened?
They really haven't been a scary team in a while. I mean, they've had some good records in the last few years, but they have this sort of like, you just kind of sense like they're a little bit of fool's gold somehow. I don't know. I blame the ownership.
Yeah, well, you have to, because they're not doing the right things to put a good team together, obviously.
They clearly, they had, I'm just a fantasy football nerd. And before the season, I was like, well, certainly the Cowboys are going to trade for a big time running back or pick up a big one for agency or draft one. They did nothing. And they have no running back to speak of. It's really weird for a premier team like that. They've got Dalvin Cook now and Zeke Elliott. All they need for a good running back room is a time machine.
I was going to go back a few years, are you?
Yeah, like 2017. Do you go back a few? I think that'd be a lot of years. Browns beat the Ravens. That's a big story. Baltimore hasn't been this upset since imitation crab meat. They hate this. They hate this kind of thing.
I love it.
Aaron Rodgers out there treating wins like family, keeping some distance from the wins.
See, now I love that joke. I don't know if people even get that. Aaron Rodgers' family hates his guts, so we should point that out.
And vice versa, to be fair. Apparently,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
There's a lot of distance there.
Did it start with his sister? As one of his sisters pissed him off or something?
I've seen him speak about it, and he doesn't really want to say much. But I've read things from all the different angles, and apparently there's just like a real disconnect. He doesn't go home for Thanksgiving. He's not really connected. He's not interested.
See, our family's the exact opposite. When our family gets together, it was Andy's birthday on Saturday.
Hey,
so he came over to the house on Saturday. We were hung out together for 7 hours.
We sure were. Well, I was like, we'll probably be there for like 3 or 4 hours and we'll go home. And well, a little longer than that.
Did you bring the kid and everything?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Cool. The kids came along.
Yeah, we did like an early trick-or-treating thing. Their city did like all the businesses had candy and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
So we did that, and then we went back and then, hung out for a little while.
And what was Ethan dressed as?
He was a skeleton, specifically a spooky, scary skeleton.
Spooky, scary skeleton. He was indeed.
Specifically, yep.
Oh, that was out at his own mouth, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A spooky, scary skeleton.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's contrasted with, so we have this like projector that has these skeletons on bicycles.
Oh, yeah.
But they're like, enjoying themselves. So they're not spooky, scary skeletons. They're happy, friendly skeletons.
Oh, very different.
Mm-hmm. They're different. Okay. You have to categorize them properly.
That's nice. How old is that kid?
It's turning 3 in a week.
Yep. A week from Thursday, he will be 3 years old.
It's amazing that you could go from in vitro to understanding the phrase spooky, scary skeleton in 3 years.
A year ago, he was barely talking.
Yeah.
Like that's an astounding, it's amazing.
Well, yeah, we went to Florida to visit my parents, and Ethan was barely talking. He was saying maybe 2-word sentences occasionally. And during that time, every day, it was like he was just talking more and more coherently. And we were like, what is going on here? Ocean air is good for the language centers or something? Because we came back, and he was basically speaking full sentences all of a sudden.
Wow.
Yeah, kids, all of a sudden that's what they say. They have this language blast where they go from just like, barely even people to now all of a sudden you're having conversations with them in a few months.
Although I should point out, Kostaki, that his son, when he was 2 years, when he had just turned 2, had an Italian accent.
He did used to
and we didn't know
things
why.
weird.
Papa, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Like, what? Where did that come from?
That's hilarious.
Well, before that, he had a French accent.
Yeah, he had a French accent.
I remember, like, if he wanted something on a shelf, he'd point up at the shelf and go, "Up there, up there." It's like, okay, sure.
S'il vous plaît.
Kids. Love kids, man. No question about it.
It's funny you say he's like a person. I say that to my kids all the time. You're like a person whenever I see them doing something that feels grown up.
When did you stop being a thing and become a person?
It is, you notice it because it happens.
You sure do.
Watch it before your very eyes. That's hilarious. Louis C.K.'s got a great joke about the first time his kid said a sentence. He was with his wife in the kitchen, and they heard this little voice from behind, and they heard him say, "I don't like chicken."
Yeah.
And it's like, we cried and we couldn't believe that a human could get to this place so quickly. And then the very next week, we're like, "You don't like chicken? Well, I don't like you. I don't like people who complain about the things I cook for them."
He wouldn't shut up about hating chicken.
Yeah. The first steps are like, "I can't believe he's walking. Finally, we've been waiting so long. He was crawling." But then the second steps are like, "Get the hell away from the counters."
Right.
It's
now the
fun
kids
for a little bit, and then
it's a nightmare. You got to get one of those fences. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's well. I'm imagining when he's getting his driver's license, it's going to be like that. It's like, "Oh, my little boy's driving. Oh God, my little boy's driving."
Yep. All the steps are that way.
Yep. And everything's just like that.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. I got 2 bits of advice when I was becoming a dad from folks. More than one person said each of these to me. One was, don't be worried if you don't fall in love with the newborn baby. They're a little bit hard to love. A lot of dads don't connect. Yep. Don't worry, that'll happen. And the other one I got from a lot of dudes was, you'll be surprised that you like each phase even more than the one prior. Because there's this constant sort of morphing and churning of the kid's growth, and you'll just enjoy each beat of it because it just gets better and better and better. And I found both of those to be true.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool.
Yeah, his latest phase has been he's learning how to play video games already.
Oh wow!
You give him a video game controller, and he'll play this Yoshi game that we have. He'll go through the levels. He'll collect all the coins. He's even learned how to like hover in the air and like shoot off an egg in the air.
Oh, wow.
And like 3 months ago, I was teaching him, okay, so this is the button that makes Mario jump. And then you just, give him the controller and he'll figure it out.
Right.
Yeah. It's been cool to watch him because it's a very complex thing. Both your hands have to work together and you have to have good reaction time and that sort of thing. And then, it's like he can maybe run 10 steps before falling over. So it's like you're really good with your hands, but you're not so good with anything else.
That is amazing that you can put all that together. It's
I never
amazing
thought
for grown-ups even.
Yeah, I never thought he would be. I was like maybe by 4 or 5 he'd be able to, beat one level of Mario, but no, he's really into it.
Wow. I'll occasionally have my 6-year-old lean over and like if I'm struggling with something on my phone, she'll lean over and do it for me. I'm like, oh my.
Yep.
I didn't know how to record a thing and send it as a text, but she did.
That's because you don't do what kids do. Press every button and see what happens.
Right.
Every single button just to see what happens. I remember doing that as a kid on a computer, deleting a bunch of important files of my mom's.
Yeah.
It's like, what's this button do? Oh, that's the delete the files button. Okay. Oh, I know.
The delete the files button.
Mm-hmm. This is the break the computer button. Computers used to have those. They used to have those. You press the wrong button and the computer just breaks. I don't know why they designed them that way, but they did.
What are you gonna do?
All right, we got Tim on the line now.
Timmy's with us. How you doing, Timmy?
I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're fantastic. Having both you guys on at the same time. What is
it, Tommy? What is it with these people with young kids thing? I mean, my youngest is going to be 20. God, I feel old.
Yeah, they're still learning to do things. They're going to learn exactly how much alcohol they can drink before it becomes a problem.
I don't want to hear about that.
That's
I don't
right.
want to hear about that.
I never got into trouble with alcohol. I just got very sick with alcohol. That was
probably a good thing.
Yeah.
You survive. You realize, there's no upside to this feeling like crap the next day.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, that's fine. Just don't drive. Right.
Yeah, exactly. I never know.
I
didn't want to leave the house anyway, so.
I take every opportunity to remind my older kid, like, don't drink and drive and don't get pregnant. Have a good time out there.
There you go. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Enjoy yourself. Be safe.
So, Kostaki, tell me, how are your Falcons doing? I miss, because the Vikings sucked on Thursday night, I didn't watch the games on Sunday. What happened?
The Falcons swept their biggest rival and are in sole possession of first place with the tiebreaker.
My God.
They're doing better than they've done in 5 years or something. They're great.
Pay Kurt the money. It's like, Kirk. See, I've already forgotten about him.
You already moved on. Kurt. Right.
I have.
Yeah, no, the Falcons, I mean, again, I understand the Kirk frustration because he can only take you so far. But you got to remember, we didn't have a top 50 quarterback for 2 years in a row. So to get the 13th best quarterback in the league was a giant upgrade for us. Whatever number you'll apply to him, somewhere in there, we're happy to have him.
I missed most of Thursday's game. Was it the Darnold that sucked, or was it our defense?
I think the Vikings are a good team that just ran up against a good team too. They could have won that game. They seemed like they were in it to me until the end. Right. And then you got a terrible call in the end zone. And then
that was a really bad call.
That was a really bad no call.
It was.
And then you didn't really get to see what could have been the ending. But I think the Vikings are in good shape. They'll be in it at the end. The only bad news for them is that the Detroit Lions are maybe the best team in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
They're unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, Andy looked it up. Top 10 blowouts in NFL history this week.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be number 8, I think, 9 or 8.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's what I would do with you if I was spending 7 hours with you, Andy. It was like, could you look this up? What about this?
Oh, yeah, he's good at looking stuff up.
Do you happen to know this fact, Andy?
Jarvis, give me a list of NFL games that ended with a prime number.
Okay. It all works out.
My mom was the math teacher. That's a joke she would enjoy.
You know what I love about this business the most? Even when Tim's on the air, his wife's still yelling at him.
Yeah, what is that?
No. I'm in a coffee shop right now. So.
Oh, okay.
I blamed it on your wife.
That's regular ambient noise. Yeah,
I'll go. I don't know if will I be plugging the business if I show where I'm at.
No, that's fine.
There's just a lot of people yelling in here.
Midwest.
You're probably wondering why I'm sitting here talking out loud. What the heck is going on with that guy?
They probably have no clue what the deal is.
No
doubt about it.
Well, let me get out on a Saints joke, and I'll hand it off to Lammers.
You got it.
The Saints went 2-0, then lost 6 in a row. What happened? It's like they partied for 2 weeks and then passed out. This is a very New Orleans situation. Right?
See?
They went south faster than a bra on Bourbon Street. Good night, everybody.
Oh, see? A bra on Bourbon Street. You know what? I got to tell you this to go. Honest to God. I love the Cops episodes in New Orleans. They're the best episodes of that show ever done.
Can you imagine trying to be a cop in that situation?
God. In New Orleans, being a cop. It's got to be quite the job.
No, thank you.
Stocky, we'll talk to you next Tuesday.
Go Vikings. Hopefully I'll come back and report on a Falcons trouncing the Cowboys win. We'll see.
Probably going to be true. Probably.
We'll see.
All right, pal.
See you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, Timmy Lammers brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyers seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. What's happening, Pally?
Well, I saw the Facebook post that you saw. Don't move.
Oh, my God. I thought it was terrific. Really, really good. Those guys were so nice. Adam and Brian came in studio, just had a great time with the movie's really good. Who is the woman that starred in that?
She is in Yellowstone. She is married to one of the Duttons. She's actually kind of Taylor Sheridan tie-in. She is also Wind River. Is that the one? She's also in a season of Fargo, the series. That's an anthology series. Yeah.
Kelsey Asbill.
Yes.
Something like that. Yeah. Yellowstone, One Tree Hill, Teen Wolf, all sorts of things that Dad didn't watch.
I mean, and talk about acting. People think, oh, you're laying there, you're doing nothing. Believe me, you need to come across with that dread that she is feeling. And she was terrific. I mean, the eyes, just communicating with the guy who almost ran her over with the lawnmower.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great film. And I hung out with the guys, and I talked quite a bit. We should get him on the air because he's such a great guy. Adam's dad. I talked to him quite a bit too. Yeah, and he's a big listener. I know he listened to the Q, and I obviously mentioned the podcast to him as well. But what I love about both Adam and Brian is they've been out in LA for 20 years now, but they are both solid family guys.
Really good people. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. They're just great guys, and I am so thrilled. Today, the actual numbers come out for Netflix globally. I have a feeling it might be number one globally, Netflix.
Well, it's number one in America. I know that.
Yeah. And those numbers, well, they actually don't come out with actual numbers for the U.S. or any of the countries, but globally, Netflix does release the numbers.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I have a feeling, because that thing was number one with a bullet right away on Netflix. Yeah. The only disadvantage it'll have will be that in the ratings period, their film is actually, they're only taking 4 days of numbers since it dropped on a Friday. So that would be the only thing that would be preventing them from reaching the top. But a lot of times with Netflix original films, those films just go whoop, and it's really been received well. Critics, and I talked, actually, I should say, I met the screenwriters. They were at the Q&A as well. I actually ended up talking with Brian and Adam, and TJ and Dave wrote the screenplay. And, I asked them about the reviews, and it's like, it's solid. It's over 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, but that doesn't matter. Brian and Adam said, hey, we won. Our film is being seen worldwide on the biggest streaming service. So, and I don't know how you could knock the film, but, critics are a crabby bunch. So I could see why.
Yes, they are.
John Landis told me a long, long time ago, critics are basically pissed off wannabe directors. And he's right. He's right. People that hit the wall and never got to make that film, so they take it out on everybody.
And some people just don't like anything. No matter what comes out, they hate it. It's like, settle down.
This is true.
Well, I haven't seen the film yet, but for a while, the Christopher Reeve documentary called Super/Man, the Christopher Reeve story, was 100% on Netflix. I mean, how could you not love or be inspired by a film like that?
Right.
Eventually,
somebody hated it.
Yep.
And it's just, you think it's just I'm not going to agree with everyone, forget it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. They feel like they want attention. I mean, let's be honest. This is an attention-seeking world, where it's just people got to always, even if it's negative, the negative stuff probably gets more attention than a lot of positive stuff sometimes. So, that's exactly the case. So, Christopher Reeve, probably one of the most inspiring films of the year. Again, I have to see it, but even if you see the trailer,
right,
it's like, you tear up watching the trailer. And it's like, nah, I don't like it. Oh, okay, whatever.
I heard he was I don't remember ever talking to him. I don't think I ever did, but I always liked him a lot. I thought he was terrific.
Oh, incredible stand-up guy. I mean, the closest I came to actually, I only talked with maybe one person about him. That was briefly with Jane Seymour. who was in a film called Somewhere in Time. And then, but yeah, he did seem like a stand-up guy, and very honest too. I mean, I've seen interviews with him. I'll send it to you, Tommy. He was not happy with the way Brando conducted himself, but whoever was
happy with the way Brando
conducted himself in Superman, and he got paid gobs of money. I mean, gobs of money. And it's a classic role. It's a legendary role, but he was not happy with the way Marlon went about his business.
Yeah, I can understand that. Marlon he's probably still my favorite actor of all time.
Mine too.
Magnificent, but God, I guess he could be just a pain in the ass.
Well, just by not cooperating.
Right.
I mean, if you see a movie like, and it's a great documentary, and I'm sure you've seen it before, called Hearts of Darkness, directed actually by Eleanor Coppola, who was filming the behind-the-scenes stuff for Apocalypse Now, and Francis was talking about trying to get him to come up. Well, we saw that documentary. You recommended it to me about the Island of Dr. Moreau and how difficult it was with Val Kilmer.
Yes.
And it was that sort of thing with Apocalypse Now. He would not, I forget what he wouldn't do, but he wouldn't come out of his trailer or something. He just lived to be a pain in the ass. And if people are wondering why it was so difficult to get him cast in The Godfather, that's why.
Yeah.
The studios looked at him like he was too much of a liability.
Yeah, that's what they thought. There's no question. And then he pulls a brilliant move because a cat wanders onto the set. And instead of waiting and chasing it away, he picks it up, puts it on his lap, and people love that scene with that cat on because he's petting the cat the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, and Brando loved that, and Francis Ford Coppola too. I mean, that's the way they covertly, and you got to see a little bit of it in The Offer, but Francis, he brought a bunch of things over, little props that Marlon would mess with while he was doing his quote unquote audition. I mean, as the story goes, he probably knew what was going on, but they needed that. That was one of the requirements of Paramount Pictures, was to get an audition. And they had a bunch of other. I think I've sent you the clip before, but I'll try to find it and send it again. It's amazing hearing Francis Coppola talk about Marlon and how he got him in The Godfather. I mean, it's just amazing stuff. Did you talk with Michael Beach yet?
No, not yet. We have not.
When is it going to be this week or something? Or
do you know if he's on? Michael Beach is on this week on either show, Andy?
Michael Beach?
I do not know.
Let's see.
Nobody ever tells me anything. You know how that goes.
I'm not seeing anything on here.
Okay, well, I sent a text to you, Tom. Make sure that you're all caught up with Tulsa King because his character is very involved in a. So you've seen them all up through Sunday?
Yes, that is a terrific show. I'm sorry, but you don't like Stallone. I got no time for you because he is terrific in that show.
Well, when I talked to Michael Beach, he mentioned how he's very generous with not hogging the scene, and as far as the funny stuff, I mean, he allows his co-stars to be funny. If they have something to contribute or whatever. He said, yeah, just a great guy. And you know what? Actually, I heard the interview with the guy this morning on the morning show that you did for Stallone's production company.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, and look, I love this. He's got to be 79, right?
No signs
of slowing down. No signs of slowing down.
Oh, God, no, not at all.
Yeah. Also, did you catch Lioness started again?
No, but I loved that first season, so I'll be on that probably tonight, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, first 2 episodes. It's great.
It's a great show. It's a really good show.
It's not afraid of being. That's Taylor Sheridan. He's not afraid.
No, not at all.
He makes the shows he wants to make.
I agree.
Yes, sir.
So what do you got going on later on today, Pally?
Well, just writing. I'm really busy with Forbes, and had a great interview with Danny Elfman last week.
Oh, really?
He's just as much a creative force in Tim Burton's stuff, but he had his original score that came out last week on digital. So if you want to go to Google Forbes, Tim Lammers, Danny Elfman, you'll find it. Just a great guy, just a really great guy. So, and talking about a guy who is 80 now, this isn't coming up for a couple of weeks, but I did talk with Danny DeVito again recently.
Oh God, I love him.
The greatest, man.
Yeah,
the
great
greatest.
guy.
Oh,
is he like 5'1"?
I think he's like 4'10". I'm not
4'10", sure. Really?
Andy's going to look it up. Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if he's less than 5 feet tall.
God, he is.
Yeah,
tiny.
yeah, he's 4'10".
4'10", really? That's amazing.
Does he have like a disorder, or is he just that short? I wonder.
I think he's just short.
Because 4'10" technically makes you a dwarf, I believe.
Probably true.
So, yep, he has epiphyseal dysplasia.
Oh, he does?
So, yeah, his bones didn't grow as much as they were supposed to.
That is amazing. He's a hell of an actor. I mean,
like I said, yeah, it didn't hold him back. That's for sure.
What's so great about
helped him?
He's 4'10" and he can play a tough guy. I love that. That's wonderful.
He mentioned Hoffa when we were talking.
Yeah, yep.
Because we started talking about Tim Burton, and there's a scene in Hoffa where I forget, a bunch of people got whacked or something. Anyway, they needed a corpse for a coffin, and Tim Burton was in the casket.
Oh, is that right?
Danny talked Tim. I'm sure Tim loved it. But he got Tim in a coffin for a scene. And there's a behind the scenes. I'll find that video too. There's a behind the scenes thing where Danny and Nicholson are walking by the coffin, and they kind of go to screw with Tim because Tim's laying there like he's dead.
Right.
So he didn't know what they were doing, and they were goofing around with him. So yeah. Yeah.
I love it. Magnificent.
Another great filmmaker who again does his own thing. That's what you need to get in this world. We don't have enough of. I mean, I think the first Venom I thought was great. Second one was. Third one I thought was okay, but it's just too much. It's too much fatigue now with those sorts of movies. It's like, okay, let's do a sequel. Let's do a superhero movie. I mean, people are finally getting tired of this stuff. Now, yes, you're going to say, well, Beetlejuice, that's a sequel. But you know what? It was a fresh idea. It moved the story along. It was a great movie, the second one. And the first one.
Well, and it's also a sequel to something that's like 30 years old or something like that.
36
So it's not like, oh, more Beetlejuice. It's, it's so old that 2 generations have almost gone by.
Yeah.
Well, the question right away for Tim was, are you going to do 3? Is there going to be a 3? He says, okay, well, let's do the math here. First one was in 88. This one was in 2024. He says, if medical science advances and I'm still alive in 36 years, the answer is yes.
2060, yeah, he's going to be kind of old.
And Tim is like 66, 67, something like that. So Tim didn't seem to have a lot of confidence in the odds of being around in another 36.
Well, yeah.
You got to see the movie. So have either one of you seen the movie? It's on digital video right now.
I haven't watched Beetlejuice in a very long time, even. I'd feel like I'd want to watch the first one again. Or do you think is that necessary?
I wouldn't advise going into the second not having seen the first one at all.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But if you saw it already, I think generally you're going to know. You're just going to know what. Yeah.
Like I said, the last time I saw it, I'm pretty sure I was a teenager. So, I remember the basic, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. He comes, he, honks his crotch. Olivia's there. That's her name, right? Olivia? Something like that?
Lydia.
Yep.
Winona Ryder.
Yeah. I only remember the very broadest strokes.
So I could not get Michael Keaton for that film, but he did one recently with Mila Kunis, and I actually did did a duo interview with them for about 15 minutes. And so you're damn right I got some Beetlejuice questions in there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I don't want to say that I did actually write an article about a surprise cameo in it. And since you haven't seen it, I think part of the fun is that surprise. So I won't tell you. But that's what I asked him about, and I asked him about the stop motion in it because that's my thing with Tim Burton's films, the stop motion. So yeah, it was really cool. That was the first time I talked to him too, and I talked to Mila before. She's terrific. So, but I love it. I love it that these guys are still doing the work, and being great at it. They're not dialing anything in. They're sincerely passionate about what they do, and there's nothing better. And same thing with Danny Elfman. I told him that. I said, I love the fact that these guys act like kids in a candy store. And that's actually what Adam and Brian were saying about Sam Raimi, is that the night before they started shooting, they're sitting at a mountaintop restaurant in Bulgaria, just a few people. And they said the way Sam was acting was like, this is his first movie.
Oh, really?
He's just so passionate, so excited. And, because he was an independent filmmaker at one point too. I mean, The Evil Dead was a total independent thing. So yeah, I love that. I mean, and these guys, they could be dialing it in, but they don't. They just love what they do.
Yeah, that's one.
Which is why we're here right now, Tom. You and I. It's like we're it's an up and down business, but it's so damn much fun. Come on, man. What else am I gonna do? Yeah.
All right, Pally. We'll talk to you again later in a week.
Yeah, actually, I will be reviewing Here, which is the new Robert Zemeckis film with Tom Hanks and Robin Wright. So we'll be talking about that then.
All right. Sounds good, pal. Thank you.
Have a good day, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Lammer is brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyers seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. That's minnesotapersonalinjury.com. Any closing words, Andrew?
I don't believe so.
All right. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Every time I hear the singing reminds me how you talking.